Welcome to CoBB, Conversations on the Business of Brands with Sudeep Chawla and Sharavana Raghavan.
I thought I was supposed to be the doomsday sayer for everything in marketing, but you become the school principal who's like pulling up other marketers for what work they're putting out on LinkedIn, especially.
No, I haven't pulled up anybody on LinkedIn.
No. They put it up on LinkedIn to get reprimanded by you via CoBB.
No. I just try to see what others are doing and then try to build my opinion around it. I think that's the only way marketers can learn. And then I try and share. Correct.
What do brands have to do with putting the cart before the horse?
I saw a recent campaign and it sort of reminded me of multiple examples where I've seen them taking actions which are equivalent to putting the cart before the horse. And hence, I thought we must talk about this.
Okay.
We have spoken about the fact that brands work closely with the brand keepers or brand managers, work closely with consumers to try and figure out how is it that brands can add value to the consumers, and thereby play a role in their lives, right?
Right.
And all
The
of
promise,
this, then
the proposition.
the proposition, all of this gets built into the proposition, which is a bundle of promises that a brand makes, right? Now, uh, a proposition, while it is crafted by the brand managers, it gets registered with the consumers only after you are able to ensure a certain number of repetitions. Yeah. And even then, since the consumer's world is so cluttered and your brand is an insignificant part of their world, the brand has to keep repeating it to keep it salient and possibly also find different ways of articulating the same proposition so that the consumer is able to see it in different lights, yet be reminded that this is the proposition that this brand always talks about.
So the different executions keep the consumer engaged and interested. And while you are reinforcing the same proposition, it is just hammering home that one core message you want to give the consumer and the promise you want to make to the consumer.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. And there are various examples of this. We look at dairy milk, which has for a fairly long period of time spoke about Meetha, right? And they did so many executions over a period of time. Fevicol has found ways to keep talking about the ultimate bond. या फेविकॉल का जोड़ है टूटेगा नहीं, in various ways. So brands being consistent and consistently finding newer executions to hammer the same proposition amongst their consumers.
Right. And brands also take on these tentpole properties, right? To maximize their proposition.
Correct. So something like an IPL or election or any cricket series like the one that is currently going on, those serve as great opportunities because a lot of eyeballs are garnered by these events, and brands are able to therefore ensure that they will get some basic minimum exposure and possibly with higher amount of engagement because these genres attract consumers, right?
Right.
So you will see that there are a lot of brands that especially become active during these tent poles.
Yes. And the communication also is tied very closely to these tentpole events. Like IPL will be cricket-based communication and stuff like that.
Correct. So, for example, this online betting category, sports betting, right? They suddenly wake up from their slumber during IPL and they're just on this vision mission to make everybody into a betting agent during this period. Yeah.
So how would you differentiate these two? So say these are like tentpole properties that are there, like the IPL. And then you mentioned there are different occasions that people take on.
Yeah.
So how are they different?
Actually, for a brand, the core mission is to give maximum exposure to their propositions, right? So therefore, whether it be any occasion or any tentpole property, all of those are opportunities for a brand to expose their proposition to consumers.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. Now, one part was tentpole, like you said, occasions. So occasions like Diwali, Rakhi, Valentine's Day, Christmas, these are all occasions that provide fertile ground for brands to integrate themselves into popular culture. Yeah. A great example of this possibly will be Cadbury celebrations.
Diwali.
Yeah. Diwali. So the way, and they did a lot of things on Rakhi as well, but I think Diwali is the prime occasion that built them.
Yeah.
Yeah. And not only did Cadbury Celebration establish itself as one of the best brands that has ridden this festival, but it also carries the equity for dairy milk during that period of time.
Right.
Yeah, because it talks about generosity and talks about, doing something good, etc., which essentially rubs off on the brand dairy milk. Yeah. So I think it's an excellent example. Globally, I think Coke has had this
Christmas.
association with Christmas. Correct. We spoke
It
about
almost
that.
feels like they created Christmas, right? The last time we
Yeah.
spoke.
Possibly they did as well. And last time we spoke about their latest AI executions, etc.,
Yeah.
etc. So therefore, these occasions also serve as a great opportunity, right?
So there are tentpole executions and these festivals. Can you
Occasions.
call them festivals or occasions?
Occasions, I would say.
Okay.
Occasions. Yeah.
Okay.
These are planned occasions. And then there are unplanned ones, right? When something happens, for example, when Brexit had happened, or when the royal family of England had separated, right? A lot of brands had their take on it. Fevicol had
Moment
done
marketing.
something. Yeah, what is called as moment marketing. So that is unplanned. And the social media teams of all of these brands are do wait for such moments to come by,
Right. I think
right?
the biggest champion of moment marketing was Amul.
It is.
Yeah.
Certainly it is. Oreo also, I think, is known for its moment marketing, right? Globally.
Right.
Yeah.
We haven't done
So
so much in India though, right? It's
they
more
haven't. Yeah. Yeah.
globally Oreo's taken on a lot of moments.
Correct. They have. They have.
Right.
So I think I would club all of this under the umbrella of topicality, right? Sometimes topicality is about occasions, sometimes it is about the festival, and sometimes it is about some current affair or an event, right?
Right. But I don't see where any of this being wrong. Like all three seem fine for brands to do, right?
Yeah, of course they are.
So
In
where is
fact,
the cart going before the horse?
hold on, hold your horses. I want to give, and I want to, uh, make sure that everybody understands this umbrella
Mm-hmm.
in its purest form. And moment marketing is not just about riding some current affair. It is also about riding trends, right? Sometime back there was this video that had gone viral of dancing uncle.
Yes.
Yeah. And there were a number of brands that had jumped onto the bandwagon, and they had uncle in their ads, that particular uncle. Yeah. So therefore, these are all valid ways of brands riding on occasions, topicality, to expose their proposition to consumers. Now, as you rightly said,
Yeah.
these are
I
all
was going to
valid
ask that.
ways. Yeah.
Exactly.
You still don't get the but, right? Now, till the time you have your proposition solid and you're using each one of these to propagate your proposition, excellent. Yeah. I have seen multiple examples where once you tie yourself to any of these occasions or topicalities, then you become a slave to the topicality, right?
Yeah.
It
You forget
almost
the
becomes a
proposition
rule.
of the brand and then you focus on, okay.
It almost
Yeah.
becomes a rule that you have to create something around a particular event. And then, as long as you're able to keep it relevant, very good. But there are a lot of times where brands then start going beyond their proposition. And that's where the cart starts pulling the horse,
Okay. Okay.
right?
Get it.
And, and the whole purpose of having this discussion is to give visibility of all kind of topicalities that can exist in the marketing universe, and making sure that all the marketing enthusiasts listening to us understand topicality for what it is,
Mm-hmm.
and then put it to the right use.
So
Yeah.
I get what he's saying. I have a few examples in mind. I think I mentioned this before on the show where
Uh-huh.
a jeweler brand
Mhm.
had an issue with the digital agency for
Uh-huh.
not celebrating Doctor's Day. So these things keep happening, but I have a feeling you have a very clear example in mind when you're saying this.
Yeah, so when I saw this recent ad on LinkedIn, and then I again went to YouTube to check it out. So this sort of reminded me there. I'm talking about the latest 5-star ad about destroying Valentine's Day. Let's destroy Valentine's Day. So 5-star has had this excellent run of propositions from really talking about a chocolate that has a great engaging eat. And at one point in time, there used to be this problem that 5-star used to stick in the teeth, right? They solved that issue, that while it's a great eat, it doesn't stick in the teeth. And they did that Johnny Johnny Yes Papa commercial. From there to it becoming a very engaging eat, right? And then 5-star khao kho jao sort of space to that entire Ramesh Suresh series. To now laddering up to say that when you eat 5-star, when you completely become immersed, you start doing nothing, right? So till the time it keeps getting laddered from the engaging eat of 5-star, this becomes a very fertile space. And I think 5-star has done a very good job of riding this eat 5-star, do nothing sort of space, right? In the past, I think a year or so, 5-star has been on this destructive path, right? Because they put out a campaign earlier about destroying AI, right? So where they said that let's confuse AI by putting all sorts of wrong information on the internet, such that AI starts giving out wrong output and people stop using AI, right? Thereby not trying to desperately increase human efficiency so that you can afford a chance to eat 5-star, right? And now they're talking about destroying Valentine's Day, right? And 5-star has had their run-ins with Valentine's Day for quite some time now.
Exactly. That's what I was about to say, because they've been anti-Valentine's Day for a while.
Yes. So 5-star Valentine's is possibly a tentpole property for them. Yeah. And in the past, they've had some interesting executions. It started from, I think, 5-star giving an access to a tool called Mush Meter to everybody, that if you want to detect where maximum number of teddy bears and flowers and everything is getting delivered, our app will show you those areas, those clusters, and you can avoid them so that you can avoid the mush, right?
Right.
To I think offering to take everybody who wants to avoid Valentine's, take them to a idyllic island,
Yeah.
where they can eat 5-star and do nothing, right? It was always in this space to say that the 5-star guy was possibly looking at others who are making so much effort with disdain, and get surprisingly interesting rewards just by eating 5-star and doing nothing, right?
Fair. Yeah.
That's the 5-star character till now. Somehow in the past couple of executions, 5-star character seems to be, leaving behind their idyllic space towards taking some kind of destructive action against AI and Valentines, right?
Okay.
And therefore, I believe that it is a little bit out of character and maybe a little bit out of brief for the brand to get their consumers to really take an action such that they're able to eliminate something.
I get what he's saying, and I get the concept of what he's saying, putting the cart before the horse. But I must say I disagree. I quite like the campaign. I thought it was pretty tongue-in-cheek. It's pretty well done, very quirky, in the 5-star zone.
I don't disagree with anything of that sort.
Okay.
Even off-the-brief campaigns can be very good.
See, I don't know what the brief was.
Yeah.
But Valentine's Day, in my opinion, for 5-star, has been one of those occasions where they've actually taken action. Even the mush meter, I believe, is an action. Even going to an island is still an action for me. Saying
I
they're
think
not doing
action to
anything.
avoid possibly is what they have shown. I think the 5-star character, protagonist, and consumers therefore are shown somebody who is content eating 5-star, and they're just, sidestepping everything else.
Right. See, it is the only time the protagonist of 5-star, as you put it, is antisocial, is during Valentine's Day. I think it's talking to the singles who are left out, and therefore it's a soulless consumption product anyway.
Yeah.
And therefore they've been anti-Valentine's Day, Mush Meter, Island. And this is taking that anti-socialism into a slightly sociopathic space to say, I'm going to destroy Valentine's Day so that I'm going to fit it back to the brand. Okay. I'm doing nothing. I want to make sure you are also doing nothing.
Nothing.
And therefore it's all 5-star.
Correct. That's the kindest way of looking at it. So, maybe unless the brand is looking to really change a little bit of their persona of their protagonists or their consumers, to say these guys will possibly take some active route, maybe a circuitous one or a funny one to do their stuff, then possibly this is a step in that direction. But somehow to me it seemed that since Valentine's Day is an important property, they have now gotten into a zone where they have to create something during Valentine's, and sometimes that might lead you to create campaigns that might be slightly tangential to what you've been doing thus far. So that doesn't mean that they will not be good, they'll not be quirky, they'll not be funny, they'll not play back to the brand. They certainly will. But over a period of time, they will add a certain character to your brand, to your consumers. Hopefully that is deliberate. If not, then possibly it's something that the brand team can ponder over.
I agree with most of what he's saying. Just that I believe Valentine's Day is a vacation from the core proposition.
One more example of maybe topicality that possibly we have seen in the past is also what we term as causevertising.
Okay.
Right? Cause plus advertising. So
Right.
there have been times where brands have tried to ride upon a cause by building it into their TVC, regardless
being
of the
safe
fact
and not calling it
purpose-led advertising, but the name for it is called causevertising. Right? So that also possibly is another way in which brands try to
Own certain-
leverage topicality without necessarily maybe meaning it. So
Don't get me started on that one.
no, I know. I don't want to as well. I think we've done a full episode on that one as well. So I think through this example and 5-star and everything else that we were talking about, my core message was to understand the reason to use topicality in marketing and making sure that the core reason remains around that, and we don't get into a position where topicality leads the brand versus the other way around.
But I completely agree with you, because we see a lot of brands chasing trends even before understanding whether it's relevant to their brand or not, and thinking of whether it is relevant to my brand, within my brand's personality, with my brand's purpose, for me to act in that order and chase certain causes and certain occasions and trends blindly. Completely agree with you. That's what they should avoid.
Thank you for listening to CoBB, Conversations on the Business of Brands with Sudeep Chawla and Sharavana Raghavan. Subscribe and learn more at cobcast.net.